That's a good boy. If you gotta go poopy, one of your sisters or brothers are out there. Hello, everybody. We'll get started here in just a second. Let's see if that changes it. Hold on just a second. How does that freaking work? Crazy. Come on. We'll come back over here. All right. Got a couple of folks on board right now. Hold on just a second, my amigos. Just get set up so we can throw you some more Joe Biden ads. Hey, Tony, haven't seen you around these parts in a while. In my head. Hold on just a second. See the signs, the queen of all time. I'm gonna go over a couple articles with you guys, and I got some Q&A to answer as well, because I got lots of questions coming in. Wife is out of town. Time to party. But first, I want to make sure y'all can see a bunch of Joe Biden ads, so I got to monetize this to make sure Joe Biden pays me. The signs, the queen of all time. There we go. Come on, why didn't you say that? Okay, all right, I guess you can't do it on a live stream. All right, so let's, I don't know what that's about. I thought I could, but I guess they're not letting me do it. Kind of weird. All right, so I appreciate y'all being here, kind of jumping off the last minute here. And the reason I'm doing that is, like I said, my wife is headed to see her friend in Texas. And when the cat's away, the mice will play. And that's what we're doing here. So we're going to do some live stream. I enjoy doing live stream. I didn't do them last night. Why didn't I do one last night? I forgot. But we did not get one done last night, so I want to make up for it tonight. We'll do it. We won't be here on Saturday, so we'll do one on we won't be here on Sunday. Got to pick her up at the airport, so we'll do one on Saturday instead, if that makes sense. So if y'all can be here on Saturday evening, about 7 or so, that's great. If not, no sweat. Hold on just a second, folks. I'm trying to get this situated once and for all here, and I'm not sure. The queen of all time. I don't know what to do. That is the weirdest thing, man. That's the weirdest thing. All right, well, I'm not sure what that's about. Okay. All right. Hey, Angelo. All right, so let's dive into this here. I want to I'm going to share with you an article that was interesting that just came across just a few minutes ago, as a matter of fact. So we're going to go to I got to share my screen. Hold on. There we go. All right, so let's share the screen here. Oops. Right there. All right, cool. All right, so this is America's secret economic weapon. Now, I have not read this yet, so I'm looking forward to reading it, and I'm going to read it with you guys. So we'll see. This is by Connor Sen, Dateline 8/20/2020. All right, so let's see what old Connor says about America's secret economic weapon, and let's see what we got. It's a Bloomberg. Okay, cool. All right, so a paradox of this economic crisis is that while U.S. employment remains 13 million below its pre-pandemic peak, the net worth of American households may be at a record high, thanks to the soaring prices of stocks and homes. This doesn't discount the need for fiscal relief for workers and small businesses that are struggling, but is an important difference from the recovery that followed 2008. Man, that is spot on, buddy. Then households spent 5 years repairing their balance sheets. They largely won't have to do that this time. That could help fast forward the economic expansion once the public health crisis ends, and it's over. So let's stop that. The components of household net worth that fluctuate are largely based on the stock market and home prices. During the 2001 recession, housing was largely stable, but stocks took a few years to recover. So net worth was mostly flat until 2003 when it started increasing again as stocks rebounded. I'd argue net worth didn't get nearly as tanked as what this guy's saying, because most people's assets are in their home. That's a fact. The middle class people, the bulk of their net worth is in their homes. All right, the recovery after 2008 took longer. Home prices crashed, taking home equity cushions with them, and it took years for them to regain lost ground. And if you're underwater, your freaking goose was cooked, man. I can't. Horrible. Thankfully, we weren't underwater. We had a little bit of equity in there, and we had a buyout guarantee from USAA in order to move to Texas. But man, I know people. I wrote it in this book right here, Strategic Money Planning. I talked about being upside down and not being able to leave your current environment to go to a better job. That sucks, and that wasn't for us. But man, it seemed like it could have been for sure. That 2008 was bad because house pricing was bad. 2008 was horrible. I would argue 2008 was worse than 2000, 2001, and 2 for non-retirees. 2001, and 2 was bad for retirees because they're relying on their equities in the stock market to fund that retirement. 2008 was bad for non-retirees or non-soon-to-be retirees because they were stuck. They were doomed upside down in houses they could not offload, and they could not go to better pastures to get better jobs. I know people like that. All right, Brew's investment portfolios followed a similar trajectory. And then 2008, not only did we get the housing crashes, but we also had markets getting killed as well, and that was a twofer right there. That sucked, man. 2008 was bad. After peaking in 2007, it took household net worth 5 years to rebound, and that's just in the aggregate. It doesn't account for the inequality that resulted, with home values in working class and non-white neighborhoods lagging behind those in wealthier and well-educated neighborhoods. Part of that recovery from 2008 involved years of households paying down debt while the housing market sat in doldrums. That's partly why the recession felt it lasted for years, even though it technically ended in 2009. If your house was worth less in 2012 than 2006, assuming you hadn't been foreclosed upon, and the unemployment rate was 8%, it did not feel like much of a recovery. The Great Recession, the Great Recession struck at the heart of the middle class wealth, primarily home equity, which is why it took households so long to recover from it, both financially and psychologically. Barring an unexpected crash in the stock market or sharp reversal in the housing market, households seem to be in very different shape in 2020. We've already had an unexpected crash in the markets, man. That's already happened. A sharp reversal in the housing market, it has yet to happen. And it has gone the exact opposite way. I'm stunned by that, but we'll see if it keeps on. I don't know. I'm stunned. Households seem to be in very different shape. Net worth fell by an aggregate $7 trillion in the first quarter, the most recent for which we have data. It's going to be a whole lot more than that in the second quarter. But a lot of that was tumbling stock prices. With stocks now at all-time highs and home prices with them, we should expect third quarter data to show a new net high for net worth just 3 quarters after its most recent high. That doesn't discount the pain and hardship millions of people are facing. But it does suggest is that the nature of this crisis is very different from 2008. Some have called it a K-shaped recovery with stark differences between losers and winners. And the extent of human suffering is not being captured very well in some of the aggregate economic data. The good news is that while today's unemployment situation may echo that of 2009, household balance sheets in the aggregate are in much better shape. We're not likely to go through years of a foreclosure crisis or households paying down debt. The personal savings rate stands at 19%. I want to talk about that for just a second. Every time they start talking about personal savings rate, hey, John, what's going on, man? Every time they talk about personal savings rate, they say, we want people to save more. If you save more, you consume less. If you consume less, you inherently have less growth of a GDP. GDP is relying on consumer spending. So be careful what you wish for. We need more consumer saving. Elevated levels of home equity could also kickstart a wave of small business formation next year, perhaps offsetting some bankruptcies. It couldn't do this after 2008 when households lacked the excess equity. Tapping home equity to start a business is likely easier and faster than getting a small business loan or raising money from friends. Home equity levels have doubled over the past decade, providing an important source of funding for would-be entrepreneurs. All right, well, that's pretty good. I was happy to hear that. I did not read that, but I saw he had a picture of a house. I knew had to have something to do with home ownership, and I very much appreciate that, because if your equity hasn't gone down, even if the stock market did. Hey, no, it's a bark-free zone. What's up, Doc? All right, it's a bark-free zone there, Barky. You can leave that somewhat openly and see if Pablo wants to go back and forth. You done with your homework? All right, you can do. As long as your mom's not watching this, you can do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? All right, but if she jumps on there, woo-wee. William just got finished with his homework, so he's going to play some electronics. If Charlotte was there, she'd be going, "Zoops" to me for letting him do that. All right, but anyway, so what we have here is we have, what was I just getting ready to say? I forgot what I was going to say. So that's good. That's good news. That the housing, the house. So all these people on YouTube talk about these real estate crashes, and I don't get. I mean, it's a very profitable draw actually to get people to watch your video. I'm in a conundrum on this stuff, man. I'm not going to lie to you. How do we have 30 million job losses and no housing crash? It doesn't make sense to me. And the $400, $600 extra debt, it's just weird to me. But I thought for sure there'd be a significant decline in market prices. And then I understood why there wasn't initially, because there wasn't as much demand. There wasn't a supply. The demand was there, the supply was not. And anytime you got demand there and supply not, the prices don't go down. That's a fact. So supply starts kicking back into gear. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's happening. So I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm happy to be wrong there. I was predicting a pretty significant market real estate crash. So because all these people losing jobs, I thought they'd for sure sell their homes in order to get out from underneath those big debts. But hey, man, I'd rather be wrong than right in this regard. We'll see what happens. But things are looking good now, relatively speaking. Things are looking good from a perspective that it seems I don't know if I can say most. It seems that many people have dodged a bullet that could have swamped them. A lot of people haven't because of freaking insanity of these policies, but I think that's good. I think that's a good sign. I think that's a good sign that housing market isn't going to crash. The supply will come back for sure, but as long as the demand exceeds the supply, that's not a market crash. It's not. It's the exact opposite. So anyway, it's good stuff there. All right, so let's see anything we got on here. When using Tony says, when using the 2-bucket approach, could you explain the optimal way to refill the cash bucket when you need to draw it down? That's a great question, Tony. All right, so that's a tough one. All right, so we got $100,000, and we got $100,000 when Tony retires. He needs 4 years of cash at $5,000 a year, if that makes sense. So $100,000, he puts $80,000 into the S&P 500 and $20,000 into Ginnie Mae. All right. So I hope you're following that. So he needs $5,000 a year. We're not adjusting with inflation or anything. We're just saying $5,000 a year times 4 years. That's $20,000 in a cash-like account. Ginnie Mae is pretty doggone close. So of the $100,000, he moves $80,000 over here to stocks or Wellington, and $20,000 over here to cash. The first 3 years, in 2000, 2001, and 2002, the S&P fell down the stairs. All right, and it's on the bottom with his arm behind. He's going like this. You know what I'm saying? And it's a world of hurt. So Tony has to take 2001 out of the Ginnie Mae, 2002 out of the Ginnie Mae, and 2000, 2001, 2002 out of the Ginnie Mae. And so now he still has 80,000 minus whatever the market declined in the stocks. I don't know. We'll just say $60,000, but he's down to 5,000 left of cash. Now, what's the most optimal way to build that cash bucket back? I would say in that regard, there isn't any. You're sunk, man, because until the market goes above the 80,000 you started with, you can't put money back in cash. You're gonna have to. All right, now it's starting to pour rain. You're just gonna have to let the cash, just gonna have to let it roll in that case. Now, remember, that is a twice in a 100-year time frame that happened right there. It only happened in 2001 and 2, and it happened in 1929, 1930, 1931, and even going into a little bit in 1932. It's thunder right there. Ooh, that was scary. So the issue that you got to deal with, Tony, is that probably won't happen. But if it did, you just got to you're gonna have to eat the cash and just let the stocks do what they're gonna do. The sad thing is, in 2008 came back around and you got hit again. That's just all there is to it. So 2003, the market was up, 4, the market was up, 5, the market was up, 6, the market was up, 7, the market was up, not that much. And then 2008, and it wiped out all those gains. Again, not likely to happen, but it's happened twice. It happened in 1930s and it happened in the aughts, if that makes sense. All right, so assuming that doesn't happen like that, because it hasn't happened very often. Let's go back to 1973 and 1974. We can go back to, 1930, 1931. It seems like one more time that I'm missing. We're at 2 years down. And then even 2008. So the idea that would happen is probably, if anything, where you get a 2-year decline, 1973, 1974. All right, so then you have your 80,000 in stocks, your 20,000 in GMA. Come 1975, the market is back. Well, actually, let's just take a look and see if I got my spreadsheet up here. Yeah, okay, sweet. Don't get scared, people, if you hear the thunder. It's just thunder. All right, so let's go here. Let's go to the queen of all time. All right, we're gonna go over here. Is there anything better than a summer thunderstorm at night? This is when I wish this is when I used to love just having the Red Sox game in the background on the radio. And I lived in Maine, man, it's awesome. Just listen to the Sox play. And, when we get a thunderstorm up in Maine, a lot of times they've already passed through Boston. So Boston would be ready. They'd be, back on the field. Oh, man. All right. So let's go 1973 and 1974. Here we go. So the S&P was down 15 and 26% respectively. All right. So here, what happened is you had your $80,000 here. You're losing 15%. So bear with me just a second. 80,000 minus 15% minus 27%. So now you're down to $50,000 right here. I hope that makes sense. So you've taken 2 years out of cash. That's it. 2 years out of cash. So now we're in year 3. So you need 5,000 here, 5,000 there. So now your 20,000 that you started with cash is only worth 10 because you've reduced that by 2 years. And your 80,000 you started here is at 49. So then you got a pretty smoking good year. So we times 40, it's actually about 49,640 times 1.3846. So we're back up to 68,000 here. All right. Well, that's not enough. You got to take it out of cash again because you're still below where you started with. We always don't want to pull from stocks until you're above the baseline. The baseline is what you started with at $80,000. All right, so now you got 1 year cash, 2 years cash, 3 years cash. So now we're going into 1976. We got 68,000 in stocks and 5,000 in cash. All right. So then we're up 1.242. So now we're back up to 85,000 here, and we still have $5,000 of cash over here, if that makes sense. So now I'm pulling because I'm above that $80,000 baseline. I'm pulling it, the 5,000 I need from my stocks. So now I'm sitting at 80,000 back in stocks and 5,000 back in cash. I hope that makes sense. So I'm back to where I was with stocks, even though I got crunched these 2 years. My cash, but I've retained 5,000 in cash. All right. The next year I lose 7%. All right. So the next year I'm down 7%. We'll just say 8% for simplicity. So I'm down to 74,000 here, but I still have $5,000 in cash. So I take year 1, 2, 3, 4. In year 5, now my cash is exhausted. I got no cash left because I'm not pulling it from here, the stocks anymore, because I lost money. I'm pulling it from cash. All right. So now I'm sitting at $74,000 in stocks, nothing in cash, and then I'm just riding it. I mean, I think at that point you have to ride it until you're as we can go. So let's take a look. So now we go to we're up 1.641, but we got to take 5,000 out for cash. Again, I'm not adjusting with inflation, just, deal with it, folks. 1.816. 6.9. Got to take 5,000 out for cash. And this last year, we're up 1.3276. Oops. So we got so now we're way up into the six figures here. So now you can start replenishing that cash bucket. The issue is we had a couple of good years here after we got smoked in the first couple, which allows you to get above that threshold of the $80,000. And once you're significantly above that threshold, ideally you have 4 years of cash, more in your stock bucket that you can transfer into the cash bucket. But you don't want to be transferring. If you have $85,000 in the stock bucket and you need $25,000 of cash, you don't want to be taking that $25,000 out because now you're below that baseline. Ideally, you stay within that $80,000 baseline. You start with $80,000 in year one in stocks and $20,000 in year two. Until you're significantly above that $80,000, I just would not pull money out in cash. Now, if I'm at 100 and I need 20,000, man, more power to you. But I don't. You gotta keep. You don't want to be pulling cash off your below your threshold, your baseline. I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's see what else we got here. John C. Would you say it's worse than Chicago? At least they haven't mobbed the mayor's office in Portland yet. We're ahead of that point for now. Just wish I had a few photo torpedoes though. Yeah. Did they arrest that Marquise Love guy? I don't know. All right on. John just downloaded my book, The Tax Bomb. Right on. Pablo has homework. Josh, right now I see supply lowering while prices are still maintaining steady. Makes no sense, especially since mortgage rates went up. Hey, what's up, CB? CB had bought this shirt right here. Actually, I didn't like this as much as I like the cotton. This is the wick shirt, whatever it's called. This, I don't know. I didn't. This is Teespring. This wasn't nearly as good as what I was hoping. It's almost too thin. I like my other Heritage Wealth Planning wicks. What do they call them? Under Armour type of shirts. But this is just too thin. I didn't like it, so I'm not a big fan of this. I actually took this off. So CB, you're probably the only guy who has this shirt other than me because I just took it off. I don't like the material, man. It's not. I don't know. I'll probably just go back to the cotton one. The other Heritage Wealth Planning shirts I have, I can't sell them. I mean, I could order a bunch for myself and mail them, but I just don't want to be doing that. So anyway, I took these shirts down. I'll put more back when I redo the design on cotton. This didn't do it for me. So CB is a collector's item. CB has sent me a picture of him wearing this Heritage Wealth Planning shirt with his 1-year-old on there. Cute as a button. And I'm not talking about CB. I'm talking about his little 1-year-old. So doggone cute. Is there anything better than a baby and a puppy? The answer, of course, is unequivocally no. Babies are the cutest. Puppies are second. And they vie for the cuteness prize because, man, they're so cute. Yeah, I right on, Homer. I see supply lowering while prices are still maintaining steady. Ooh, hear that thunder. I don't know if I see supply lowering. I guess people are just less inclined to move out. The only thing I could think. Apparently, there's going to be a new 50 basis point fee on refis coming forward here next in September. I just read 50 basis point is 0.5 of 1%. So it looks like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to put a tap on an extra fee for refinancing going forward, which we'll see. Someone says, "Hey, Rebecca, I'm doing quite well. Thank you. Get your merch and hit the like." Right, I didn't see you say that. So get the merch right on. But I didn't see you say that, CB. But I still have everything else. I'll put shirts back there. Just this material didn't do it for me. Right on. Homer says he's too cheap for the merch, but does support unsubscribe. So I know that. Thanks, buddy. Rob W. That's loud, says Meg. All right. So Meg, I'm going to read your comment. All right. So Charlito, man, he's on here. Charlito, our residential naysayer. Right on. Georgia State quarterback Mikhail something diagnosed with heart condition linked to COVID-19. So I hate to say it. Okay. I mean, how many people die and little kids die in bathtubs every year? I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. I that sucks. And I talked to a guy. He's emailed me. He came down with COVID-19. He said it sucked, and he's doing a plan with me. Dude, having the flu freaking sucks. Donkey, you know what? Kahunas. I've had the flu a couple times. It sucks horribly, and you get it from being in close contact with other people. People die from it. I just don't get this need to say, look, this guy, he's a quarterback, he's an athlete, he's got COVID-19. Oh my goodness, it sucks. But I mean, people get hurt and killed, and you cannot live in a riskless society. I don't understand. My wife was on an airplane saying there's one lady who had not just a mask, but the face shield on. And I'm sitting there thinking, we've done lost our freaking minds. And I just, look, I refuse to be, you're not going to convince me to be scared of this. I'm just not going to be. If I wasn't scared of the flu, I'm not going to be scared of this. I will be scared of, prostate cancer. So I got the lady to do that. You know what I'm saying? My GP, PCP, boom, and I was like, don't like that. But that's a big deal. I'm going to get a colonoscopy here pretty soon. I'm getting old, but it's just the numbers just don't justify you being that scared, Charlito. I don't understand it. It's the weirdest thing, man. I sit there and it's almost like you guys have glee when you can report that one guy, a quarterback at Georgia State, has got COVID-19 due to heart conditions. It's the weirdest thing. Let's see. Intergenerational wealth transfer or leaving Roth to grandkids. That's the way to do it right there. But remember, they only have 10 years to reduce. They have to cash out within 10 years, man. Just keep that in mind, James. They have to cash out within 10 years. So that sounds good under the old stretch IRA provisions. Those days are gone. So you got 10 years for that grandkid to cash out. Still better than nothing, but new homes are selling quickly in our area. Yeah, right on. I think you're right, Homer, about the quarterback. I just, like, at the end of the day, it's kind of like the who was I listening to today? Talking about the 35-year-old guy who died in the New York Times, where somebody had written about it, and then in like the 10th paragraph, you realize he had leukemia the whole time. It's sad, but just to make a political issue just seems a little bit, I don't know. John, I've been tracking 9 houses around the country on Zillow for some time. Houses associated with a family, and haven't seen any decline in prices. Man, right on. 5,000 people diagnosed in Kentucky every year from poor diet and lack of exercise. Let me show you guys something. I'm still sharing this. Sorry. I did a video on this earlier today. I want to share with you guys something. It was, all right, hold on a second. It was this county right here. It was, hold on just this. Okay, right there. This is sad. Oops, not MailChimp. Hold on a second. I want to go to right here. So let's go to here real quick. And I'm going to share with you this on McDowell County, West Virginia. All right, so this has one of the cheapest property tax in the union. All right, cheapest county property tax. It's got a population of 22,000. All right, it seceded from Virginia to become their own state, and you can see its own county right here in West Virginia. So let's take a look at the demographics, shall we? It's the southernmost county in West Virginia. The county has a total of 535 square miles, so quite a large county. 22,000 to populate. All right, let's see here. The median household income is 22,154. That's the median. Now you got to take that with a grain of salt. A lot of the government transfers don't show up in median income numbers, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. But that's still poor. That's freaking quite poor. 27% of the families were below the poverty line. 44% of those under the age of 18 and 20. But check this out. Of 3,142 counties in the U.S., McDowell ranked 3,142 in the life expectancy of both male and female residents. It has the lowest life expectancy of all the U.S. Males in McDowell lived an average of 63 years and females 71 years, compared to the national life expectancy of 76 and 81. Moreover, the average life expectancy declined by 3.2 years for males and 4 years for females between 1985 and 2013, compared to the national average, which had an increased lifespan of 5.5 years and 3.1. High rates of smoking and obesity and a low level of physical activity appear to be contributing factors to declining life expectancy or drug-induced deaths. In 2015, McDowell had the highest rate of drug-induced deaths of any county in the U.S., with 141 per person, per 100,000 people. Whereas in the U.S. as a whole, it's only 14.7 per 100,000 people. Neighboring Wyoming County had the second highest rate. But remember, white privilege. The issue here is this is a hell of a lot more concerning than the freaking comedy virus, man. And no one cares. No one cares. You know, poor whites, no one cares. That's a fact. No one cares. And yet here we are right here. Drug-induced deaths are freaking, what is that, 7? I don't know what that is. Almost 10 times the rate of the U.S. as a whole. Life expectancy, we're getting on the range of, nearing third world countries here in this county. Now, I don't know what to do. I mean, I know that I guarantee I know what's happening here. You know what's happening here. There's not much you can do. You can't. Trump can't go in there and say everybody needs to get a job. We're going to bring coal mines back. It's just not going to happen. A lot of this is self-inflicted. But at the end of the day, the idea that our citizens are suffering through this and everyone's just focusing on the commie virus, it just pains me no end. Especially because a lot of Maine, where I'm from, is just like this for sure. And I'll never forget, I had a friend of mine, I guess he's no longer a friend of mine because he found out I like the Trumpster, and that's fine. But he was really upset when Trump said New Hampshire has significant problems with drug-induced deaths. Mike Pence just texted me. Look at this. This is Mike Pence. I've texted you multiple times. I don't want you texting me, Mike Pence. I donated the Trumpster campaign. I got a link from Diamond and Silk, and they said, if you donate $50, we have matching people to donate another $250. And I said, what the hell? MAGA for me, baby. And so I said, I donated $50 and then it created a $250 the Trump Pence campaign. But you got to put your phone on there. I should have just made something up. And now I'm getting Mike Pence, the bot, texting me. But anyway, so we got, like in Maine, or New Hampshire, where this guy's from, Trump is saying New Hampshire's got a horrific drug-induced overdose. And he's like, no, we don't. And I was like, dude, you don't even know your state, brother. You don't even know. It's absolutely it is. And this is the poor whites right here. They're dealing with this. Poor blacks are dealing with violence, black on black. Poor whites are dealing self-inflicted violence with drug-induced. And everyone wants to talk about the thing that's just not that big of a deal for most people, which is the coronavirus. It's just not. You quarantine the sick. You don't quarantine the healthy. And then on top of that, you don't quarantine the healthy and then say, hey, it's okay. You got Netflix. Now, if they're living out in the boondocks, they don't. My God, man. So along those lines, let me stop this. I want to share with you one of the worst comments I've ever seen in my life. Actually, let me bring it up here. Hold on just a second. I'm going to read you this comment from everybody's favorite person in Massachusetts, Meg. So this will break your heart. If it doesn't, you have no soul. I don't know what else to tell you. And Meg put it on the thing, so I'm assuming for public consumption. But I'm going to comment on it because it kills me, man. And so let's read Meg's comment if I could find that thing here. Hold on just a second. Oh, come on, man. People are waiting on me there, everybody. All right, let's go to videos. Oh, wow. My video on Goodyear backtracks is taking off. That's interesting. You never know what videos take off. It's funny. If you want a video to take off, do a stimulus check and real estate prices are crashing. That's what you got to do. The market's crashing, real estate prices are crashing, and stimulus checks. Those three things, you'll get lots of video views. Crazy. All right, so let's go right here. So this on my video, suicidal thoughts are surging in mental health is declining. And then Meg had written this comment, which is devastating. There's no other way around it. And I'm going to read it. And I think Meg is on here. So I'm sorry if I'm bringing attention to you, but I did a video back in February about my concern about the suicides that people are going to have to deal with, the mental decline. It's already, people in America are already on a thin line here, man. And just, I don't know why. I don't know. Affluenza, I don't know. But the idea that it's just as horrible. So let's read this. So Meg says, I'm a doctor in clinical practice, board certified clinical specialist in adult psychiatry, and psychopharmacology. I could not agree more about anxiety provoking issues of the folks working from home and the exasperation of chronic anxiety and depressive disorders related to isolation, as well as a new Zoom anticipatory anxiety for students and workers. Meg says, I've been extremely busy seeing an avalanche of patients presenting with heightened anxiety, actual panic related to Zoom classroom and Zoom meetings. This hits close to the heart, man. I'm telling you. Most folks requesting or requiring my expert opinion, more benzodiazepine, I don't know what that, aka Xanax or Ativan. I also advise them to increase non-pharmacological intervention, getting out in nature and walking to release endogenous serotonin and endorphins. Walking in nature. This is the whole thing about keep everybody inside. It's evil. Going outside and breathing the fresh air is the best thing you can do. Seeing the birds, seeing the sun, seeing the clouds, seeing a flower, taking a fresh breath of there's nothing better for your emotional sake than just going outside. And you don't have to be a Christian, but just seeing the beauty that is abundant right there. Anyway, so she says, but the fear of coming into contact with people has paralyzed some. These freaking scumbags, man, who are making you seem like that. I was at Walmart today, and people are just like looking at me like I have my stupid mask on, but people are just scared. It's nuts. And people are like my man Charlito here. You're encouraging this, brother. Listen, you can't be doing this stuff. It's bad. People are scared out of their wits. They're looking at other human beings like they're freaking a nuclear bomb about to go off. This is horrible. It will be a whole new ICD-10 diagnostic code if it already isn't. I don't know what ICD-10 diagnostic code. Oh, AKA the old Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders diagnostic coding. I've sent people to the emergency room for increased suicidal ideation more frequently in the past months than ever. The good news is for me is that telemental health visits are now billed the same as in-person evaluations. So those patients that are not Zoom anxious, but rather more depressed, can tolerate a Zoom visit, can have greater access to me for evaluation treatment. All right, sad, but the consequences of this will be forevermore. Now, I want to also read this. You think that's bad? Check this out. That's the only beginning. All right, so you're an old person. This is going to freaking piss you off. This pisses me off. If I can find that comment. Oh, man. All right, one last thing right here. This freaking infuriates me. One last thing. I also see a ton of patients in nursing homes. One unit I was contracted to go to was the highest at 37 positive cases, COVID-19. So there I am, me in my N95 mask, another mask on top, a face shield, a hairnet, full suit, gloves, and booties, trying to be a therapeutic presence for the frail elder, and they can't even hear me because the mask's on, the shields, and they can barely make out my eyes. That's freaking evil. One memory I would like to forget is helping to facilitate the process of a patient actively dying, not of COVID, mind you, and working with nurses that are holding their own iPhones for FaceTime goodbyes with their loved ones. Gut-wrenching. 36 out of the 37 cases recovered. One died of the other cause. So you're an old person and you're sitting there, you cannot have people around you. You got old Meg here. You can't have anyone love you. Meg's freaking decked out like a hazmat. and no one can do anything. No one's there to assist, to love you, other than a freaking FaceTime. Because we're going to be worried about the quarterback of Georgia State. This is freaking evil crap, man. Oh, that's just a few. And then my man Doug writes in, who also has a Heritage Wealth Planning t-shirt too. His is red. He says, "Thank you, Meg. My father." It's going to make me cry, dudes. Look, I'm Irish. We cry like I'm German and Irish. Sometimes I get stoic like Germans. I got more Irish than German in me, though. So I'm a big fat, the waterworks. My father is in a nursing home, 96 years old, and mental faculties top notch. The situation is very difficult for him. I can't imagine anything more worse than the isolation for those in his situation. I thank God for you and others like you. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I can't. Man, I can't imagine not being able to go see your dad. You know what I'm saying? And then seeing John Lewis, that clown from Atlanta, having the funeral, and all those guys did, and they didn't have to. They just went to his funeral here in Atlanta, and then they went back to DC. You're supposed to quarantine yourself for 15 days when you're coming from Georgia. They didn't do any of that crap. There's one law for them and one law for us, and they can all kiss my freaking ass. I'm sick of this crap, man. You can't see your dad. You can't. Meg's got to be there in a hazmat suit with a freaking phone saying FaceTime. You can't get a hug. This is evil, evil crap. I'm sick of this crap, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. But watch. I'm going to show you something. This is going to freaking. I didn't even want to get down this tangent, but I could not resist. This is freaking fury. I can't. I mean, the people who are doing that are oh God, these are the real Antifa, the anti-fascist in the hospitals. A 96-year-old Dougie Fresh's dad. I don't know what he did I don't know, but I'm just saying, people like him are the people who fought the fascists. But instead, we got these clowny fascists over here that are, for some reason, get free reign on America, and yet the real anti-fascists we can't hug. The world's gone insane. Screw all that crap, man. I'm telling you, there's a riot coming in November. I think it's November 4th or 3rd. And I tell you, I feel it in my bones. People are freaking pissed. It's nuts. Unfortunately, I say that, but then I look at this. Watch this. Oh, this infuriates me. All right, so let's see what we got here. Right here. This is from Franklin Templeton, and my man Lynn had sent this to me. I think Lynn's from North Dakota. On my mind, they blinded us from science. The first round of, Americans still misperceive the risk of death from commie virus for different age cohorts to a shocking extent. Now, remember, they blinded us from science, all right? Here's Sonal Desai, PhD. All right, the misperception is greater for those who identify as Democrats. Yeah, because Democrats just look at CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, the Washington Post. They have no clue what reality is. I hate to say it, you just don't. And they're feeding you a bunch of crap, and you cannot pull your head out of it because you think this time is where they're going to get Trump. And for those who rely more on social media for information, they're blinding us from science. We find a sizable safety premium that could become a significant driver of inflation as the recovery gets underway. All right, 6 months into the pandemic, Americans still dramatically misunderstand the risk of dying from COVID-19. On average, Americans believe that people aged 55 and older account for just over half the total deaths. Americans believe that people 55 and older account for only half the total deaths. The actual figure is 92%. Americans believe that people aged 44 and younger account for 30% of the deaths. The actual figure is 2.7. Americans overestimate the risk of death for people aged 24 and younger by a factor of 50. 50. And they think the risk for people aged 65 and older is half of what it actually is. These results are nothing short of stunning. Mortality data have shown from the very beginning that the commie virus age discriminates, with deaths overwhelmingly concentrated in people who are older and suffer comorbidities. This is perhaps the only uncontroversial piece of evidence we have about this virus. Nearly all U.S. fatalities have been among people over 55, and yet a large number of Americans are still convinced that the risk to those younger than 55 is almost the same as those who are older. Look at that. Estimates. So here's the respondents. Here's the CDC data. Age 55 and older, 92% of the the deaths are 92% if you're age 55 and older. And yet Americans think that just over half are. It's freaking insane, man. And they're going to say, well, science. The misperceptions translate directly into a degree of fear for one's health that for most people vastly exceed the actual risk. We find that the share of people who are very worried or somewhat worried or suffering serious health consequences should they contract COVID-19 is almost identical across all age brackets. The discrepancy with the actual mortality data is staggering. For people aged 18 to 24, the share of those worried about serious health consequences is 400 times higher than the share of total COVID-19 deaths. For those aged 25 to 34, is 90 times higher. The chart is truly worth 1,000 words right here. Fear of health consequences by COVID-19 versus actual mortality data. Look at it. 59% of people 18 to 24 are fearful of it. And yet the death rates, and that's not quite the same, but we'll just use it. So their fear of health consequences, but the actual death is 0.1. And that's a little bit apples to oranges. I get that, but still, look at that. The fear of death for the older people is 77.6, and their actual death is higher. Or fear of health consequences. One question asked about fear of serious health consequences, not fear of death, but the evidence to date indicates the two are following a very similar age distribution. Indeed, the CDC has clearly stated on its website, among adults, the risk of severe illness with COVID-19 increases with age, with older adults at the highest risk. Recent concerns of possible adverse long-term consequences are by necessity speculative, since we obviously do not have long-term data. I did a video on some clown on the YouTube who's like, basically he's admitting now that the death rate is low. He's even saying it's only 0.5, which is actually higher than what it truly is. But thankfully we got that through this freaking clown, but he's scientific. He's saying, but now we still got to be serious because the long-term effects. I'm like, dude, the long-term effects, this is what cracks me up. We've been given vaccines for years and years and years. There's a correlation between the number of vaccines and the allergies, the peanut allergies, the asthma, the autism, all that stuff. There's a correlation. I'm not saying it's a causation. I don't know. There's a correlation. There is a correlation between obesity vaccines, the health stuff that we've been recommending on the feared food pyramid, all this stuff. There's correlations between all this stuff for sure. Are they causations? I don't know. I think the causation with obesity and the food pyramid is unequivocally. I do. In terms of vaccines, I have no idea. But the minute you say, what are the long-term effects on these vaccines were given to infants? 19 is the CDC recommended. 19. How did they play with each other inside an infant's body? No one has any idea. And if I say that, you're Jenny McCarthy, you're anti-vaxxer. And yet now we're saying, oh, be careful, the COVID-19, the long-term risks, or we don't know what they are. Well, welcome to the friggin' party, pal. Welcome to the friggin' party. So you're going to shut down the whole damn economy like freaking Joe Biden's health director says, Rahm Emanuel's brother, Ezekiel, who said he didn't want to live past 75 anyway? Screw all that. Kiss my big fat derriere, you freaking fools. I'm sick of this crap. You're scaring the hell out of people. The consequence of social disinteraction is going to be through the roof, witnessed by many people overdosing, suicide, mental incompetence, mental health related issues. Marriage is falling apart, drug, alcohol addiction, just it's insanity. It's perfect for the Chinese communists to come in marching here. We got a bunch of freaking scared people who are too heavy, they're too obese because they've been following the government dictates for too long, and now the Chinese communists show up and there's no one to fight them. For the last 6 months, we've all read and talked about nothing but COVID-19. Well, except for a 6-week time frame with George Floyd. That's it. Then it was over. It's done. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's okay. COVID-19. If you riot, it doesn't bother you. But if you're protesting for your right to go to the friggin' store, it'll come after you. People who get their information predominantly from social media had the most erroneous distorted perception of risk. Shocking. Those who identify as Democrats tend to mistakenly overstate the risk of death from COVID-19 for much for younger people much more than Republicans. This sadly comes as no surprise. Fear and anger are the most reliable drivers of engagement. Scary tales of young victims, my man Charlito, of the pandemic, intimating that we are all at risk, quickly go viral. So do stories that blame everything on your political adversaries. The fact is, it's an election year. Okay. Look at that. Deaths from COVID-19 per million population by state. Deaths average over 7-day period. Of course, we have Sweden, which is now beaten it back. Sweden's fine. Sweden's good. Sweden's good. You're good. New Zealand, nope. In fact, where I was reading something else. Hold on just a second. Now I'm just off this tangent. Sorry, guys, but I don't. Hold on a second. We got. Hold on just a second here. Where am I going? Oh, yeah, right there. Oops, hold on. We got. I want to go to this one website here. It was. I forgot what website I wanted to go to. Oh, hold on a sec. Yep, I remember. Hold on just a second. We will tell you. Hold on just a second. I'm going to find it if I can. Man, probably might not be able to find it. Dagnabbit. Has something to do with coronavirus and herd immunity. If I can find it, I will share it with you because it was incredible. All right. Yeah, probably not going to find it. Dagnabbit. All right, hold on just a second because it was fantastic. Yeah, maybe I won't. It's on here someplace right here. Yep, right there. Ignorance about it was down here someplace, man. Where is this? Man. Yeah, I don't know. Man, it's too bad. I had a wonderful art. I might have to do a video on it, but it talked about herd immunity was coming pretty quickly now, and herd immunity is what we always wanted. We want to get so we don't have to. It was basically 20% was the idea for herd immunity. Now it wasn't 70% like people were saying initially. About 20% now, and once we get 20%, the coronavirus is dying off. And so, anyway, all right. Well, that's. Yeah, dude, when I had the flu, I had the flu. It's crazy. I'll never forget one time I had it. I was shivering, sweating like a pig. At the same time, I was shivering. It's horrible. Yeah, so the whole point about this, my man said 5,000 people a year diagnosed in Kentucky. Let's see, 5,000 people a year diagnosed in Kentucky from every year from poor diet and lack of exercise. But yeah, COVID-19, exactly. I'm not going out until it's a cure for death. All right, my man John Doe says a 900K sitting on the sidelines. What should I do? Man, I don't know your situation, brother. I don't know. They're saying probably myocarditis. They're saying probably myocarditis, inflammation of heart muscle from the viral infection. I got heart condition from strep infection when I was active duty. Everything is politicized. Look how they're treating Herman. I know, man. It's crazy. I don't. It's the left. It's not they. It's it's not everything. It's the left. We're not like that. Can you imagine the nastiness of the stuff they're doing on Herman? Just nasty. Yeah, New Hampshire has a serious health problem, meth problem. I could not agree more. And opiates. Yep. If anyone's interested, Morningstar had Ed Slott on their YouTube channel yesterday. He really went in depth with Roth and estate taxes. All right. Why would you go in depth with estate tax? Huh. This seems odd to me because there is basically no estate tax for the federal. I mean, there is, but it's not going to affect most people. He talked about historical low taxes, and now's the time for conversions. I don't know, man. Goodyear sucks. Right on. You see the CEO backtracking. Could not be happier. Don't forget the V-shaped recovery is so fast. Only 10% of Vanguard clients did something. A guy made a video about looking out the window and doing nothing. Just watching my man Louis Rukeyser, CB. Louis Rukeyser says, "Don't just do something. Sit there." From the late 80s and 90s, right? Probably the late 70s through the early 90s, mid 90s. Louis Rukeyser, Wall Street Week. "Don't just do something. Sit there," said the great Lou. Mental illness is a silent monster. I tell you, just losing people from drug overdoses, just from mental conditions they can't recuperate from. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's just, oh my goodness. We have a lady in our neighborhood. I don't want to get into it. It's just sad, man. It's like once you get hooked, you cannot. And I don't know why some people get hooked and some people don't. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's, some kind of chemical in there. I don't know. But some people can. But everyone, I don't know. But some people have their own peccadillos, whatever, and other, to other things. And some people, I don't know. Some people have to, spend. They just have an addiction, spending, to gambling, to pornography, to drugs, to I don't know. But everyone's got something, it seems, and as you have mental health just being just not even considered in this overall equation, it's just not good, man. My man Homer says that a coworker went all out of equities and went into bonds in March. Totally missed out on the entire run up. Now he's switching back to equities at the highest. I want to talk a little bit about that. So not the equities. And further, we'll talk about this a little bit. But I was talking to a guy today. He said I could share his. I'm not going to say who he is or anything, but he said I could share his story. Good guy. And he had $77,000 in credit card debt, paying around 20% interest. I'm sitting there, and he had like $250,000 in his 401k, all sitting in cash. And he's 64 years old. It's all vested. He's got a big fat military pension, but he also has a couple of credit cards, like 3%. He's got equity in his home. I'm just sitting there thinking, whoa, buddy, what are we doing here? And anyway, the interesting thing was, so this is our first call days. He hired me, and all I did is I deleted the credit card, reduced the credit card debt by the amount, $77,000 from his 401k, because I said you should take a loan under the COVID-19, the Secure Act provisions. He should be able to borrow the extent of that $77,000 credit card debt, as long as his employer allows. But I'm like, he said he had a credit score of like 748, which, is pretty good. It's not 800, but it's pretty good. I was thinking with a 24% credit card, he must have like a 515 or something like that. But no, he's got tons of equity in his house. I'm sitting there thinking, what the hell? And anyway, and we just snuck up on him. And I said, look, the problem with borrowing against your 401k to pay this guy off is we don't want you to see you back there in 5 years. That's a concern, that you have another $77,000, but you have less in your 401k. And I can't. I'm not going to police him up on that. But I said, you got to watch that like a hawk. But anyway, and I'm sitting there. So we were doing the plan, and he's at 10%. I said, damn. And that was before I happened to see what his credit card debt was. And I said, you're never going to get out. And he was paying extra like $300 or $400 a month of principal. I said, dude, it doesn't matter. That's 77,000 times 24%. And that's 18,000 a year of interest alone. That's $1,500 a month. You're never going to get out from that, ever. Horrible. Anyway, so we paid off. So I reduced his 401k amount by the amount he's going to use to borrow against it, and he's going to pay off that credit card debt. And then he's sitting in cash. I said he can't be sitting, because he did the same thing that my man Homer here is saying. about his buddy. He got out the first $1,000 market decline. He got out, and he's basically hasn't really got back in. He's got back a little bit, but not that much. So he missed a little bit of he missed a bit of, quite a bit of the down, but he also missed a huge run up too. And I'm sitting there thinking, you got a big fat military pension, and your Social Security for you and your spouse, you're gonna have 92% of your income is guaranteed, of your income needs once you retire is guaranteed by pension and Social Security. You can afford to take the risk, dude. The market has no impact on your retirement at all. It doesn't. It has none whatsoever. I said, so you've got to get back into the market. You have to, even if it's at a high. So anyway, so I said, okay, we're going to use a proxy, the Vanguard Life Strategy Moderate Fund. And we use that as a proxy to reinvest whatever he had left in his 401k, paid off that credit card debt. That's all we did. We didn't do anything else. We just did that right there, paid off the credit card and reinvested the remainder in the Vanguard Life Strategy Moderate Fund. I forgot the ticker. But anyway, it went from 10% to 94. Just because that credit card is evil. And I mean, you can make an argument all day long about not borrowing against your 401k, but you would be incredibly wrong. That's just dumb. You're never going to make 24% on your money ever. In this case, it's all in cash anyway. I'm just like, dude. So it went from 10 to 94%, just like that. And the reason is simple, because it has nothing to do with the market anymore. Nothing. It's got the fact to do that his income is met when he hits retirement by his Social Security and his military pension. Crazy. And anyway, he's a good guy. He's an officer in the Army. You know what I'm saying? He's not stupid. He just, got out of control a little bit. And I think he probably was afraid to look at his statement. He probably felt embarrassed. And look, if that is you, man, you got to chin up, man. Don't be so embarrassed, especially men. They think they got under control. And I'm not saying this guy's a good guy. I mean, he reached out to me, maybe out of desperation. I don't know. But I'm not here. But he said I could use his stuff. He said I could say this to you guys. Don't be so proud that you say, man, I've screwed up. I either need to seek help or I need to find out how to fix this. And seek help, you got people like me all over the place. My man Devin Carroll out of Texas. You got tons of good guys out there. Or just call your credit card company, say, I'm not paying 24%, you freaking fools. Or in this case, the guy's got home equity too. I said, why don't you take a home equity line? Because he has a good credit rate. He's got, 748 is the credit score. Now his issue, he says, well, I won't be able to, it's gonna be tough to get another loan because my debt to income is too high. I said, but when they do home equity lines of credits or when they refinance, because I used to be in banking, I know exactly how this works. So we used to do this all the time. We'd borrow against we take a second on the house, a home equity line of credit. So you got the first deed of trust. So you have a deed is your house. So you got this piece of paper called a deed. The deed just says who's the owner. So Josh and Charlotte. On top of the deed is you got a deed of trust. That's your first mortgage. You got a deed of trust. Josh and Charlotte, in my case, just me, because when we took the mortgage out, Charlotte wasn't making any money, but she had a little bit of debt in her name. So I did not want her debt to offset the income for debt to income ratios. We didn't really need to do that, but still, from banking, you got to be careful with DTIs, debt to income ratio. All right, so you have a deed, but then you have a deed of trust. It's basically it's a mosquito on top of your deed. It's sucking you dry. That's the first, is your first mortgage. Then you have a second mortgage that's called subordinate to that first. The second deed of trust is subordinate to the first. What that means is if you ever go bankrupt, the first deed of trust, your first mortgage, will take preference in a bankruptcy filing. The second one will be behind that, be subordinate to the first, if that makes sense. Well, anyway, so in this case, he was like, man, I already had, my debt to income was like 66%. I said, but that's not how you look at it. What happens is the bank will say, you got a first mortgage, you have a deed of trust on the first mortgage. We can be subordinate to that first mortgage, but we'll actually we'll take out these debts that you have, and it will change your whole debt to income structure completely. I don't think a lot of people recognize that, actually. And when you're going on doing a home equity line application as a banker, it'll ask you, what debts are out there. You look at the credit report, and what you do when you're sending it to underwriting, because we could never underwrite our own loans. You have to send it to underwriting. You say, we're taking out this loan, we're taking out that loan with this home equity line of credit. And because we're doing that, it just changed the debt to income ratio. In this case, it would have made it, he could have done that 2 seconds flat, easy to buy. He just didn't know. And that sucks because he spent a lot of money on those interests. Secondly, on that, what I was going to say on the debt to income ratio. Oh, so some people in home equity lines, if they're going to loan you that money to pay off other debt, they will actually cut the check to, they'll say Chase consumer loans, whatever the hell it is. They'll say, we'll give you the money, but we're not going to give you it, sight unseen with just this open-ended checkbook so that way you can sniff it up your nose. We are going to make sure that we pay off these debts, if that makes sense. And some banks will do that. Others won't. The ones that don't are taking on more risk because theoretically you could borrow that money on top of the money you've already got out there. And if you got a gambling habit, for instance, that'd be bad. So a lot of banks will say, no, we're not going to allow you to pay it off. We'll do it for you. And that's in this case, probably not a bad idea. But he's just borrowing against his 401k. So anyway, Gary says, when's my book coming out? Yeah, quit goofing off. I know. You just got something hanging over your head. So I got to do. I was talking about my Devin Carroll yesterday. You all know Devin Carroll from the Social Security guy. He reached out to me and he's put together some, I think a course. I can't remember. I said, Devin, you got to do a course, man. That's what I told him. Man, long story short, we're talking and I said, I got so many things I got to get out there. And but the thing I tell him, I said, I just like doing YouTube. I like it. But the funny thing is I like writing too. Once I actually take the time to do it, once I get in front of my computer and start writing, I enjoy it immensely, Gary. It's just the problem is the editing is painful. You're like, it's like, and so you just got to sit down there and write it. But then you got to go back to editing it. It's kind of like you always do the things you like to do and put off. I just got to do the damn thing. I got to tell myself no videos for 2 days and just do the damn book. I'm almost done. I've been saying that since May. I said it'd be done by May. I don't think it's May anymore. Yep, I agree, Rob. People are scared crapless. That's crazy. For years, my man investing growth says he was stressed over things that just weren't worth it. It's a mindset. I completely agree. Now, with that said, I take Lexapro. Meg, you know what Lexapro is? So Lexapro, and I've never denied this. It's I don't even know what it is, some kind of dope, I guess, but it's a little pill, and it for me, it works like a charm. I'm a pretty intense guy, as you can probably tell. I'm emotional. Like I said, I got the Irish in me, but I'm intense. A history of drugs and alcoholism in our family dynamic for sure. So we have addictive personalities. My whole family has on both sides. It's just fact, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm up and down, which is weird because my brother is the exact opposite. My brother's just chill, man. What up, dude? Yeah. But I'm pretty up and I'm pretty wild and crazy guy. But anyway, so I've always had this just not quite just I don't know why, but I've always had this pending, not doom so much, but like the other shoe is going to drop. I've always had that feeling. It's weird. It just always stressed me out. And one time, Charlotte and I got into it pretty good one time. And I can't remember what I kind of remember. I don't want to get into it, but we got into it pretty good. And I said, I just flipped out. And look, we don't throw blows or anything like that, but I just got mad of something stupid. And long story short, I said, I don't like that. I don't want to be like that anymore. And I said, but I'm worried about seeing a doc because I don't want to be addicted. I'm addicted to stuff. I'm still an alcoholic. I haven't drank since 5/25/1997, but once an alcoholic, forever are. You're never not an alcoholic. You're just sober. But anyway, so I said, I don't want to be doped up for the rest of my life. Like, hey man, rock and roll, dude. I don't want to be, freaking zombie. Anyway, so back when we were in New Jersey, I went to a doc and he gave me some Zoloft, I think. And he said, just split the pill, just you gotta get used to it. So split the pill in half and take the first half, and because I'm a doctor, I said, nah, screw that. I'll take the whole thing. And I had a panic attack. I'd never had a panic attack. That scared the hell out of me. I'll never forget that. Lying literally on the bathroom floor at 3 a.m, like it was the scariest thing ever. And I said, I'm never doing that again. Well, anyway, long story short, so we moved to Georgia. Charlotte and I, we go at it one time. Again, we never, nothing like that, just yelling. And we don't do that very often. When we do, and we don't do it that much. If we haven't done it for a while, but when we do, it's she gives me a silent treatment for days. Men don't do that crap. Men just fight and move on. I mean, men will literally come to blows 20 seconds later, they're drinking beers together. Women are evil when it comes to stuff. Women, they hold it against you for years. It's crazy. I'm like, dude, how do you give me the silent treatment for 5 freaking days? It's crazy. One time we're driving up to Maine, and I had told her I quit drinking, and we're in some bar in Boston with her roommates, and I ordered a Sierra Nevada Porter, and she was pissed because she thought I had quit drinking. And anyway, so my brother and I and Charlotte going up to Maine. It's me driving this tiny little pickup truck, Charlotte in the middle, and Ben right here driving from Boston, Maine. And she gave the silent treatment the whole way. So I'm like, hey, Ben, you reached talked over Charlotte. Can you tell Charlotte blah, blah, blah? And when we're going to, we're moving to Arizona, I'll never forget, we got a hotel in Albuquerque. And we had my friend Carlos and his girlfriend Jessica. They were in one U-Haul, and we were in another U-Haul, and so we all parked together. And something happened. I forgot. By then I had quit drinking, so I wasn't drinking. But she got mad at me for something, and she had the silent treatment all the way from Albuquerque all the way down to Phoenix. I was like, and I remember we stopped at some side of some place to take pictures, some tourist place. How do you do this? You get the whole way from Albuquerque to Phoenix. Now, she doesn't do that so much anymore. She's grown up, but man alive, of course, maybe I've just been a better husband. But either way, it's like, please, just say something. The discipline of that woman, nuts. But anyway, so we go and I take this thing. So I had a good friend of mine named Brett, and he said, you should do this thing called Lexapro. I said, I don't know, dude. I'm not trying to get hooked on nothing. He goes, I like it. It just kind of softens the blow. It takes about 5% of the edge off. I said, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, it's less. I told him about my experience with Zoloft. He goes, it's not as bad as, it's not less, I don't know, less whatever it is than Zoloft or something like that. I said, yeah, I'll try it. And I've been taking that for freaking 5 years now. I love it. It keeps me, I haven't lost my motivation. I'm not a zombie, but I tell you, it does take about 5% off. I noticed because like when I was drinking, 95% of the time I was a happy drunk. I love drinking. I was freaking love drinking. I loved it. It was just fun. But 5% of the time I was a dick, and that's where I'd get in lots of trouble. And the same thing with Lexapro. Is that 5% of the time where I'm a dick, I'm not like that anymore. I mean, if I don't get a good night's sleep or something like that, I'm not a happy person. But most of that is gone. It's great. I could not be happier. My doc who prescribed it to me said her ex-husband was on it, and he got off it, and then he went right back to being a dick. And I said, yeah, that's anyway. So anyway, kind of interesting. I don't know anything about benzo things or anything like that. I don't know what those stuff is. I just worry about it in my own family because we got a significant history of drugs and alcohol, and I'm not touching that as 10-foot pole. I will say back in the day when I used to engage in a little bit of dope smoking, that never did much for me. I hated it. That's why I'm so glad that I never went down the road because, I smoked some dope with my friends in high school. They'd smoke a lot and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the way it made me feel. It made me feel like I had no control, and that scared the hell out of me. And my mom told me about her acid trips she used to take when she was in San Francisco State in college at San Francisco in the 60s. And she scared the hell out of acid to me. So I never got into that. She goes, she'd take these acid trips and she'd always, sometimes it'd feel like there's like bugs crawling all over her, and she couldn't, like, no matter what, she couldn't get off, give them away, even though her friends were saying there weren't any. She goes, they're on me. Ooh, that was enough to scare the hell out of me. So I never got any of that crap, thank God. I don't think I need any cocaine because that makes you crazy. Heroin would just, what I'm saying? That's the thing with heroin, it just makes you like this. And cocaine makes you crazy. And I think cocaine would kill me in 2 seconds flat because I'm already hyper enough. The heroin would just, but anyway, I don't ever want to touch that crap. That's for sure. Oh, it scares me. All right. Hey, Dio Scott says, Rob says he's a moderator. He's got the wrench. He can say whatever he wants. Who's going to moderate the moderator? Dio Scott says, thank you for your wisdom. Retired today as of 31 years as a federal law enforcement officer. Now to walk at 53 years old. Now how to place TSP. I have now how to place TSP. I have C, S, and 50% C, 40% S, 10% I. It's freaking awesome, man. Kick ass. If you're, as long as you're not in the state of Maryland, I just roll that to an IRA over at Vanguard or Schwab or something like that, brother. That's freaking awesome. If you're in Maryland, don't. That's all there is to it. Maryland, they'll hammer. You just don't do that if you're Maryland. I don't know if you are or not, but I'd just roll that to an IRA for sure. Now, because you're 50. Oh, wait a second. That's not. Hold on. I presume you're getting a big fat pension. All right. So now, if you don't, because I forgot what the rule was, but I think Trump signed a bill. If you're a federal law enforcement officer, which you are, and you separate from service after 50, as long as you keep your money in your previous plan, it could be a sheriff's deputy even. You don't have to be a federal law enforcement officer. A sheriff's deputy with a local 403B has to, as long as you separate from service after 50, or actually after 49, but when you're 50 or beyond, if you leave your money in your current plan, the TSP, you have access to it without penalty. For federal law enforcement officers, border patrol, sheriff's deputies, first responders, probably our friend Meg here, you know what I'm saying? So as long as you're a first responder of some sort, you have access to it. I did a video on this a while, like 2 years ago. So now I think about it, and if you need access to this money, I would not roll that to an IRA. I just leave it there. You have access to it pre 59.5 without penalty. Just keep that in mind. Oh boy, Christopher said he coughed at a restaurant and 2 patrons put on their masks. Wait a second though. I thought the masks were to protect others. So if you coughed, why did they put on their mask? Yeah, the whole thing's freaking nuts. Our Way says, I'm so sick of it all. I got an email today that from medical school I went to, the entire thing was about supporting medical students during COVID. How the hell will they practice medicine? Avoid pharma and get outside. Could not agree more. But with that said, I do have pharma. Lexapro is pharma. You know what I'm saying? I do take it, and I like it. But I do take a walk. Yeah, enjoy the sunshine, greenery. People fear the outside. It's nuts. Ooh, but I did save another turtle today. So just think, if I wasn't out there enjoying the fresh air and the sun, taking old poopy boy here, a turtle would have got crushed, and I saved that guy. 2 turtles in 2 weeks. Yeah, exactly. The reason you hate the mask, you can't see other people smile. Yeah, ask Charlie Baker about nursing homes. He'll tell you, friggin' scumbag. People, oops. Hey, right on. Someone gave me $4 and 99 cents. I think I click on this. Meg. Hey. Lexapro is not addictive. Glad it's working. It's my favorite antidepressant to recommend to folks. Right on, Meg. That's awesome. I love it. I mean, I literally, it's I don't want to go so far as say it's a lifesaver, but yeah, when I don't know, I won't go that far. But I don't want to go any further than that. I just it's been hugely a boon to me for sure. I look back. Yeah, I don't want. I'm just done with that. So thanks, Meg. People are going to die from the flu. And see, I tell you, wait until wintertime comes. I'm telling you, man, you got a little runny nose, you go like this, ah, stay back. Crazy. My wife still practices medicine. She is a hospitalist. She is sick of it too, Meg. Jordan Peterson talks about withdrawal benzos almost died. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Each person's unique, though. That's the thing. Each person has their own reaction to stuff. I don't know the answer. Withdrawal benzo is terrible. Oh yeah. Hey, thanks, Rick. Rick says he appreciates all I do. All right. They need a new leader soon in the Republic of Philippines. All right. I married Filipina too. And Filipino ladies are freaking beautiful. That's all there is to it, man. Man, Filipino ladies are freaking just drop dead gorgeous. I've never been to Philippines, but the ones I met in stateside, woo-wee, man. They got those Spanish surnames, right? Like, and the Philippines, don't they have pesos or something like that? Or is it dollars? I don't remember. My man Gary says, flew to SeaTac. Lady had mask and face shield, took it all off to drink and eat. Yeah, COVID doesn't bother you when you're eating. It's funny, man. We all went out to eat the other day. You had to wear a mask on the way to your table, but no mask at your table. Yeah, that's logic, dude. It's science. The coronavirus is scared of you when you eat. Yeah, CCCP knows how to keep people in fear. Exactly, man. Scare tactics keep changing. I missed it. My wife remembered things I. Let's see. All right, so check out Able Accounts. Great way to get tax-free growth for any disabled children. Right on. Devin Carroll, yes, right on. All right, I missed something here. Oh yeah, John says glad you're able to help that former Army officer. I agree. Sometimes just need someone to kick in the butt. No other way around that. Hey, thanks, Super Drummer Steve. Ooh, lots. Man, if you want to be in a band, if you want to play drums, there's always a need for drummers. That's a fact. All right. Our way says with rates so low, we are thinking of getting another house closer to my wife's work. Worth it to do no money down or put down money anyway? I mean, if you can do no money down like a VA loan, I would do that, man. I look. I don't know what your situation is, our way, but I just can't. I don't know. I don't expect huge 1980 like returns in the markets. I don't. But 6% on stocks is certainly better than 3% on mortgage rates, and the 6% on stocks is liquid, unlike your equity in your home, if that makes sense. So um, I think I would do that if they could. Now, there's nothing better than having no mortgage payment. I don't know what it's like. But I got equity in this house. It's great, but until I sell it, there's nothing I can do with it. You know what I'm saying? And no, I would probably just put the money in and bank it, and have that liquid, because liquid. That's why I say to people all the time since the comedy virus stuff started. I said, man, don't pay down your mortgage. You got to sock that money away. I was paying an extra $1,000 a month on my mortgage payment, and I said, so basically what I was doing was put $1,000 a month in M1, $1,000 a month in my mortgage payment extra. And then when I saw this happen, I just said, I don't like not having enough. I need more liquidity. So I put my extra $1,000 a month towards my mortgage. I just put it in my M1 account. So now I'm putting $2,000 a month into my M1 account. Because I said, I need the liquidity just in case, if that makes sense. And it just feels good. It feels good having a bucket of money. Now I have an IRA, but I'm only 50 years old, right? Now I know I could take it out because of COVID-19 Secure Act stuff, but I make a lot of money and I don't want to get killed tax wise. So I need something that's liquid outside my IRA. And the only other thing I had was equity in my home, which doesn't do me any good. So I just said, all right, I'm just going to I'm going to keep paying the mortgage like it was. I'm just going to focus on an after tax account in order to have access to liquidity if I need it, if that makes sense. Yeah, right on. What good is an 800 credit score if your house is paid off and no debt? You'll get suckered. Oh, look at Homer. Borrow. Look at all the things you could buy. Yeah. Don't you want to press your neighbors? Oh, don't you want to press your wife? Oh. Oh, John says he encountered a Karen the other day. She began yelling at my wife and me when we were out for a morning walk. Holy crap. She began yelling at you, John, while you're walking in front of your wife? Who the hell these freaking people think they are? Man, see, that's where I'm glad on the Lexapro. If I went on Lexapro, look, hell, dude. I mean, I'm not like I'd never punch a woman, but I'm just sitting there thinking, man, now I just laugh at him. Before I'd be freaking getting pissed off and screaming bloody murder and saying things I don't want to say. But now I'm just like, whatever, freaking Karen, get on out of here. I'm sorry you're so scared. So scared. Freaking, can you imagine that? Freaking scumbag. I'm sick of people up my butt all the time. Man. Yeah, so now they've done research saying this might allow herd immunity. We've known this how immune system works for a really long time, at least since I was in medical school. That's the thing. I mean, this way, I don't get it. The same people argue for mandating vaccines, they say because herd immunity. But these are the same people now saying, oh, herd immunity. I'm like, the whole world's gone upside down. It's kind of crazy. I don't get it. I don't understand, man. It's nuts. All right. Watch wrecked videos on YouTube, classic Karen compilations. Some cloggers are even doing Karen bingo. Oh man, that sounds fantastic. Check out I Hypocrite too, disturbing but gives you a weekly perspective of what's going on social media. Ugh. Are you rotating your portfolio to move smaller cap? The market's all tech all the time. Right on, Eric. That's a good question. I did a video the other day on why I think you need to go to more value stocks. And I don't know you, I don't know anybody. I'm just for myself. My biggest holding is VTV. So my $1,000 a month or my 2,000 a month I put into my M1 is all going to VTI. So my biggest holding by far is VTV. But you know, my VTI is growing because I put $2,000 a month in there, and we've had a nice run, obviously, since March. My second biggest holding is VDIGX. That's a Vanguard Dividend Growth Fund. So I'm still a true believer in dividends. Forever will be. Dividends, generally speaking, are on the value side of the equation. And I think, and if you go VTI, which is the Vanguard Total Stock Index, 70% of that is essentially the S&P 500. All right, and that is the drawback about the S&P 500 is it's really dominated essentially by those 5 stocks. You know, the FANF or whatever they are, the Facebook, Apple, Alphabet, Amazon. I miss a couple, but Microsoft. But either way, they're dominated by those ones right there. And that concerns me some. But at least with VTI, 30% is in mid and small cap stocks. So essentially, if you look at the VTI as you're getting S&P 500, 70%, 40% of the S&P 500 is going to be the value stocks. 60%, give or take, is growth. Now, 30% of the portfolio of VTI is small and mid-sized stocks. So basically, if you look at, at the end of the day, 65% is going to be value, large cap, and small and mid-sized companies, and 35% is growth. I'm pretty comfortable with that. So I like VTI. I do. That's a Vanguard Total Stock Index. And if all you have is the S&P 500, I'd recommend, I still think people need to diversify a little bit into small companies and mid-size. And the way to do that is just, put some in the VTI for sure. Full of Karen compilations, man. That's funny. My wife remembers things I know I never said, right? Meg says Lexapro is not addictive. Man, that is music to my ears. Just because I do have an addictive personality. I'm addicted to YouTube. That's what I've been saying for a long. They say, "How do you do these videos?" I don't know. I just enjoy it. When you do something you enjoy, you just do it. That's what makes it fun. Zoloft is used for both depression and anxiety. Oosh. Yeah, that kind of scares me, man. I don't have depression. I feel bad for people who got depression, my friends. Can you imagine just feeling like it's hopeless? That just scares me. I feel bad. In Philippines, they call it tampo, giving their man the silent treatment. Oh my, tampo. Geez Louise. I can see those Filipino women being better than my Irish Catholic wife, actually, and she's freaking good. Oh my goodness. Oh, I miss my wife. She's in Texas right now with her friend. Her friend's 50th birthday coming up. Let's see if she's landed yet. Oh man. Oh, when she texted, is everyone still okay? All right, good. She hasn't landed yet. Go Charlotte, right on. Oh man. Josh, check out today's release article in the Federalist on marriage rates. Quite telling. Loved your garden video you did earlier today. Hope you have a great harvest. My wife's enjoying hers. Yeah, John, that's turtles would be extinct. I'm still majority VTV, Carl, by far. I don't have much VBK anymore. I haven't sold. I just let it be there, but VTV by far. But I'm starting to build. I'm starting to build the VTI, so that hopefully in a few years I'll take that over. VBK is gaining steam, huh? This growth is the growth stuff, man. That just worries me. I'm telling you. It worries me to the extent that if I was retired, you can't afford a huge hit. You just can't. Unless you got a big fat pension like my man today. It's like, dude, you got pension, who cares? You're not going bankrupt. It's not happening. Yeah, no, you can't be punching ladies. Did you see those freaking ass clowns in Rochester hitting that old lady, that small old lady with like a 2x4? How these people not being strong enough, I don't know. I don't know. You can't be doing that crap, man. I don't know why. It's because rap music, and I hate to say it, but look, and yes, rock and roll had a lot of anti-women stuff too, but we never had a lyric saying we're going to beat women down in the goddamn street, which is what Ice-T said. And this is 1987 in Rhyme Pays in his song 6 in the Morning. He said, "We beat the bitch down in the goddamn street." That's what he said in a video, in a rap song. Oh, it's not real. Yeah, well, people hear that crap and they take it to the extreme. The next thing you know, women are being beaten as if it's okay. And it ain't okay. It's wrong. You see those freaking Antifa BLM thugs beating that lady with the guy who got kicked in the head in Portland, beating on her? Freaking scumbags, man. I mean, the idea of a man punching my wife or my daughters, I just I can't even fathom like having that. Can you imagine? Look, I get it. The Karens out there, just like, man, the way you deal with Karens, you laugh at them. That's how you deal with these clowns. I mean, this is how the Klan got taken down, by the way. I mean, I know they got sued by the SPLC, that hate group themselves, but still, at the end of the day, the reason the Klan got taken down is because it was silly. People like, you're a whatever that is, a grand quizzer. I don't even know what the hell it is. You're whatever that name. It's weird, man. It's the laughter is the best medicine because it makes you feel good, A, and then B, makes the other people realize you're just a goof. You're just not even worth getting mad about. Don't get angry, get even. I just like, look at you. And that's what you should do. Yeah, right on our way. What are your thoughts on Tesla joining the S&P 500? Does Tesla even have a PE ratio? I don't understand that, man. Tesla, let's take a gander. Tesla. My man, Fighting Words Financial, Jason Proctor did a video on Nikola Motors. Yeah, today and or the other day. I don't know anything about it, but apparently they're like hydrogen cell motor company. Anyway, so Jason Proctor, Fighting Words Financial is his YouTube channel. Big fan. There's Tesla. That just, I don't understand it. That's nuts. So back in it has a PE. Look, so Tesla has gone up from 361 on March 18th to 2000 on August. It's got a PE ratio of 1,000. If you're in that, I don't know how you're not taking profits, man. Is it Tesla actually joining the S&P 500? Please tell me it's not. Tesla is now worth more than Walmart. Some of y'all might not have been around in the late 90s, but like the Japanese in the late 80s, like what was it? Their Tokyo, the value of Tokyo real estate or something like that was worth more than the entirety of the US or something like that. It was insane. It was just nuts. In the late 90s, some of these companies, I forgot what it was, but there were companies that were worth more than it was insane. And if Tesla is, and I just off the top of my head, but I just remember sitting there, that does not make sense that this company is worth more than, I don't know, all the, whatever it is. Now we have Tesla is worth more than Walmart. I'm sorry, man. If you're buying that, I would, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't see it being in the S&P 500. I don't know if it's not, but is it truly in the S&P 500? That's crazy. It's nuts, man. That's nuts to me. Hey, Jill, right on. Um, uh, let's see. VTI plus VIG equals 2-click buy and hold forever. Done, man. Park Bear lives in Ohio, 33 years, Air Force civilian, right on. Doctor of clinical practice is psychiatry and not physician. Small cap got hammered and provided a great opportunity. Tesla's more than the entire U.S. auto industry. That doesn't make any sense, man. Kurt is retired now, disabled for the last 10 years. Yeah, right on. Carl says he told this guy he's crazy not to be more aggressive when he's got his pension, all that. Psychiatry, had to do medical school rotations, residency in psychiatry. Right on, William. I was talking to a former school teacher. Yeah, guaranteed 8.25% return, which is why they're going bankrupt. Asked him where he had the rest invested. He said he's in bonds. Oh, Carl, you're telling this guy right. Why are you in bonds, man? Oh, my lands. Oh, yeah. Hey, man, should I buy the $5 toothpaste or $2 toothpaste? Antifa is a terrorist group, no more, no less. I could not agree more. Yep. What is your opinion on ARK investing? I have no idea what ARK investing is. Sorry, I don't know. Kurt, registered pharmacist. All right. Amber Heard is happy. Oh, yeah. So there's a board certified clinical specialist in psychiatry and tons of residency. I don't even know what any of that means, but the reason I asked about Tesla joining the S&P is the potential significant exposure in total market funds, but it's not in the S&P right now, right? Is that? I mean, it's not. I hope it can't be. Well, I don't know if it can be. I don't know. If it's going in the S&P 500, that bothers me significantly. Yeah, no way. I can't see Tesla being the S&P 500. Well, who knows? If Tesla goes in the S&P 500, Homer, man, that just I don't know. That it has to be see how big they representative they are. And 1 or 2%, no big deal. But if it's 8-9%, like Apple or well, Apple's not. I mean, I'd have to see more. Yeah, I've heard that rumor. Okay, right on. I've heard that rumor that might be joining it. I haven't. It's not there yet, which is good. Right on. It's waiting to explode. You did a video on American Funds, Growth Fund of America. Is that still good? Yeah, I'm. If it's American Funds, I got my seal of approval across the board. I'm like, will it be the best fund? I don't know, but American Funds is a good quality concern, absolutely. And Nicola, maybe a thing. California's weak, temps in triple digits, electricity. Yeah, you hear about California? Even the Governor Gruesome said we might have bought too much on this wish of solar and wind. The wind wasn't moving quickly enough, and there's cloud cover. What happens when wind and solar goes out? Yep, Diablo Nuclear is to be shut down. Newsom, yeah, right on, Doug. That's couldn't happen to a better group of people. Sadly, there's many good people in California, but you gotta get the hell out of there, man. Shutting down nuclear. Governor Brown said they're going to go 100% renewable in 2045, which is just insane. If Gruesome now is now seeing the light, and Michael Moore is seeing the light, who knows? Maybe there's hope for us all, because fossil fuels make life easier to live. That's a fact, but I'm not holding my breath. There's too much money to be made being a green virtue signaler for sure. Let's see. Does anyone buy savings bonds anymore? Good question, Bruce. That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't looked into them for a long time. But some of those old savings bonds would kick butt and take names. But that's a good question. I'm a fan of savings bonds. They're simple, not sexy, but they get the job done. I just don't know what they're doing anymore. I haven't looked into it. So if you find out some info on that, Bruce, let me know, man. You know how to contact me. What kind of retirement plan can truck drivers make? Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by what kind of retirement plan. All right. All right. Yep. Now I'm smelling the smoke of California right now, man. Yikes. What do I think about YRC with a government bailout? Man, I don't even know what YRC is. I don't know what these acronyms are. I know Ford, GM, and Chrysler are in the S&P or the Dow. Probably both, to be honest with you, Tim. All right. So let's because they're overdiagnosing ADHD and their meds, they're putting them on our controlled substances. All right, so let's get out of here. My wife should be texting me shortly when she lands safely in Dallas, and then. But I appreciate y'all being here. Remember, I got to pick her up at the airport on Sunday night, so I will not be doing a live stream Sunday. We'll do it Saturday instead. Much obliged for y'all being here. Keep the faith, everybody. We're gonna beat this thing. We've beaten it. Now we just got to beat the scaremongers out there, and they're many. November 4th is when we riot, and when I say that YouTube algorithm, I'm saying it in the rhetorical. We're gonna riot at the ballot box, and then it'll just magically disappear. Actually, I don't know that to be true, but I'm hoping. All right. Blessings to y'all. Appreciate y'all being here for sure. Thanks now.